Hello, and welcome to Why History Matters. This is a vlog that I've gone ahead and created to help educate and advocate younger individuals to go out there and vote. Today I'm going to be talking about Mexican Americans, why the history matters, and some of the events that really should be more important to you. Now, I'm going to be addressing some articles that I learned about in my Chicano studies class. This information I feel like is important to Mexican Americans and really should have more light shed on it. The first article I'm going to go ahead and address is When Americans Lynched Mexicans. From 1848 to 1928, mobs murdered thousands of Mexicans, but only 547 of these cases were actually documented. Now, these lynches took place in the southwestern states, primarily Arizona, California, and New Mexico. And this is crucial as a lot of us don't know that many Mexican Americans had been lynched during this time. In fact, it's often overlooked. In today's charged debate over immigration policy and the growth of Latino population, it's important to take into account events such as these, as it reflects anti-Mexican violence. Now, segueing into the next topic, we're going to be talking about an article written by John Greenberg. Now, this article goes over some of the issues with white Americans working in racial justice. There's a great comic actually that comes up, and it kind of depicts what it's like for a lot of minority groups. Not just African Americans, but also Mexican Americans. Now, this comic depicts a young white male climbing on the back of a young black male who also happens to have a ball and chain attached to his wrist. After climbing on top of the young individual and getting onto the ledge, he then thanks him and apologizes for being racist. But when the young black individual asks for his help to get on the ledge as well, he then says that would be reverse racism, basically not offering his hand to the individual that just helped him get up on that ledge. Now, this is crucial to Mexican Americans, as it doesn't just depict the relationship between the white American or Caucasian and the African American, but it more closely resembles the divide between white Americans and minorities. Now, this places white Americans up here and the rest of us down here, when really we should both be here. In fact, the next article published by the MSNBC entitled Geography of Poverty goes into the detail of how 23.5% of Hispanics fall below the poverty line. Now, the sad fact is that 23.5% is actually an improvement. Taking into consideration how many Hispanics fall below the poverty line, it's clear to see there's an unequal distribution within the US. You see, Mexicans have actually existed in the US longer than many of us are led to believe. In fact, Mexicans have existed in the US since the 1850s, with tribes such as the Mexican Kickapoo, a tribe that was binational, existing in both Mexico and the US. This relates to an article based on Absolute Vodka, with an ad they released back in 2008, which depicted a reconquering of California. California actually used to be Mexican territory and was previously named Alta California. This was not the only territory that Mexico had owned. Absolute Vodka did their best to try and portray this in their ad campaign. Following the Mexican War of 1848, a treaty was signed, the Treaty of Guadalupe and Hidalgo. This forfeited land previously owned by Mexico. This land included California, New Mexico, Texas, Utah, and many others. However, there are success stories, and those that have moved back to their country have been successful, such as Bernardino Hernandez, who went to UC Davis. Though he had to give up his American dream due to legal status, Hernandez now lives in Mexico, running the helms of a linguistics company. Knowing this should encourage you to go out and vote, since history is still in the making, and it's always a process.